Hi everyone, Jared here, and I've got a very quick community question for you today, and that is, what was the very first console that you would consider was like your console? What I mean by that is, for example, for me, we actually had access to an Atari 2600, but I don't consider that my first console. I consider my first console the NES, because the NES is the one when I was old enough. I was a kid, obviously, but I was old enough to really remember like everything about it. Remember all the new experiences. Remember when Super Mario Brothers 2 came out, Super Mario Brothers 3, Zelda, Zelda 2, Super Metroid, Punch Out, all the Castlevanias, and so on and so forth. So for me, that was like my first console. But I'm kind of curious to see with a lot of our viewers here, sort of like your age range. So I'm kind of curious how many of you like really would consider the Atari 2600 your first console, or maybe even the SNES, the Genesis, Mega Drive, N64. Maybe even we have some viewers where the PS1, 2, or potentially even the PS3 was their first console. So that was part one of this. The other part was, what was the first computer that you had access to or that you would consider your own? For my family, the first computer that we ever purchased was a 286, I think it was. But my first computer was in grade or elementary school, and that was the Apple II. That was the first computer that I use a lot, and I do consider that my first computer, even though the family didn't buy one until, like I say, until God, what was that? When we were still rocking out the DOS, baby. But I got a lot of good memories of the Apple II. Some of the most basic, I can't even think of what they're called right now, but some of the most basic games you could imagine. Some very simple programming language stuff. There was like QBasic but that was later on. But anyways, whatever. I remember some of those really early like text adventure games on PC where you had to like write down, like open door, move forward, go back, this and that, and everything else. And but yeah, I don't know why I was thinking of this. It just, yeah. And anyways, finally, the last thing was, what was the first portable gaming device that you ever played on? And for me, the very first one I ever played on was the Game Boy. I had a buddy of mine who had the Game & Watch series, which I thought was awesome. But it was really, like, again, for me, what I consider my own first, portable gaming device was the original Game Boy. I got that the first year it actually came out. And it was because when my parents looked, like most parents did, they were like, well, you got your Game Boy. And shortly thereafter, the Game Gear came out, and I know they were looking at both, and they were like, well, yeah, this one's in color, but it takes 6 batteries. That one takes 4. Sure, it's not. It's like a black and white. It's a monochrome screen, but it's got like Mario and stuff like that. And, no, Jared loves those games, so here, just get him that. Anyways, so there you go. Those are my 3 things. So first console that I would consider really like, that I have the most memories of and things was the NES. First portable was the Game Boy. And then for my first PC, like I said, what I consider my own first PC, even though I didn't own one per se, was the Apple II. So there you go, guys. What about you guys? So leave a comment. Let me know what you would consider your first console, your first portable, and your first PC was. Now, do keep in mind, it's entirely possible that you are, 14 years old today, and yet you would consider your first console a Super Nintendo. Why? Because, when your older siblings or cousins or whatever gave you this system and you didn't have a modern day console or last gen console, and you started with the SNES, and so to you that was your first console. That's perfectly cool too, and I'd love for you guys to give a little bit of a sort of a history. I don't really have anything that interesting, I was given an Atari 2600, but I vaguely remember playing with it. I'm more remember the Christmas where I got the NES there, me and my brother, and then we went crazy from there on out. So yeah, just go ahead. I don't have a too interesting story, but I'm sure some of you guys are going to. So thanks for watching, everybody, and leave a comment, and let's go back into your history a little bit about your very first console, portable, and PC. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back soon with another video.